A one, a two, a 1, 2, 3. Oh, excommunication when you think they would be hating, but there ain't no debating, there's still common ground.
Watching movies and some streaming with your ex, it's so redeeming. They're both pretty snarky, it's about to go down. It's a girl from California and a man about town.
On excommunication. Yeah.
Flatulation.
Our theme
Hello.
song is such a bop. I love it.
It's a bop. A bop is also slang for a sex worker.
It works both ways here.
We're recording. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to episode 4 of the Excommunication podcast. And we have been taking your feedback, and by we, I mean me mostly, because I've gotten the feedback that it is not a good look, that I do not have a good memory for names. So I sometimes can't remember the names of actors and the characters. And apparently every credit of every movie down to the gaffer and the best boy
Here we
and
go.
craft services.
Of course.
So I
said the main cast. That's all I ask. I don't think that's too much to ask for.
You
I'm
realize
not
that the
asking you to
main-
go as deep as I go.
well, I try to
That's
go
what she
deep.
said.
But yeah, the cast of Sinners, there's 86 people. So let's just say I'm going to know every single
said
name,
It doesn't apply to
of
movies.
every actor, every character name. And if you don't think I'm going to pull up the name of the craft services person, you are sadly mistaken.
Of course, it's to spite me because, well, at least you haven't pulled the, don't you know who I am card when I give you constructive feedback. Or worry about your cleavage just to, undermine my thoughts and my opinions. So congrats.
That is a
You're doing really
classic
good at
trick
that.
of men, is to sexualize women, to dismiss their or discount their opinions. I would never do that. Your
You
cleavage
literally have been doing it the whole time.
is-
Every episode, you're just like, cleavage doesn't make you qualified to speak on that. Well.
so
Neither does
did I mention
Alzheimer's or whatever excuse you have.
did I mention I'm currently being featured in a documentary,
Oh my God.
which has
Your
garnered
ego is out
a
of control. right now.
250,000 views in literally like 2 hours.
It was
It's
good.
one of the most popular Las Vegas documentaries. I couldn't tell you the name of it, but it is from a company called, I think, Perfect Union, maybe, or More Perfect Union, something along those lines. So seek it out. You can't find it by searching my name, but that is just once again to attest to my immense influence and online presence.
Well, I'm also in a documentary. It's called Surviving Scott Robin. So it's kind of the side project to this project that I'm doing behind the scenes. So
Could you
stay tuned
please
for that.
list the cast, their character names, and the backstory
Of
of
course,
every
because
character?
I care about putting a quality product out there.
Well-
So I think it's great that we're able to give each other feedback, like the fact that I interrupt you all the time and that I have a set of bullet points in my brain that apparently I'm trying to get out there, and that's undermining you by not allowing you to finish your thoughts. So
Oh, interesting. Now
everything to heart here.
see, that's valid feedback. I don't know who you got that from. Probably somebody, a commenter online, or
yeah,
a critic
you know.
of some
I
sort.
don't know. It was the guy with black hair told me. I don't know. I don't remember his name. I'm not good with names. I don't know. Anyways,
Oh, that's very funny. Hey,
I love that we do
so
our housekeeping on air, so everyone
housekeeping it
hear our
will
grievances.
also
Dirty
include the
laundry.
fact that while we may not have talked about this last time, we will be talking about 2 Oscar-nominated films, one, Weapons, and another called Sinners. So it's a week of movies with one-word titles. And
Horror.
I'm sorry, who'd you call me? What?
Horror.
Yes, horror.
Horror genre?
Horror.
Horror.
Maybe. I didn't feel that horrified. I was mystified in many parts of these films.
Can
but,
we talk about something before we get into the movies? So sorry to interrupt.
Wasn't this some of your feedback to me that I did all these little Okay, go
The
ahead.
side quests? No,
Yeah.
because if we get the side quest out of the way before the main, it's like getting your, going to your side piece and clearing out the pipes and then going home to your wife. You know what I mean? Like it just gives you a clear head. It makes you able to focus on the issue at hand. So, I was talking about plumbing, by the way. Anyways, so Mark Wahlberg, I want to talk about it because I feel like nobody is talking about the fact that well, I mean, we saw him on The View. He's like the Pope now, I guess. So he's even more revered than ever, even though being an actor wasn't enough attention. I think he has left Vegas quietly. I think he's trying to be sneaky about it, and he's slithered away after making such a huge deal about moving to Vegas and moving his kids there and how much he cares about the Vegas community. I saw him on so many news broadcasts saying that he cares about Vegas locals and he's going to make it his home. And he just bought a $37 million mansion in Florida. So I feel like no one's talking about this. And I just was wondering if you have any thoughts.
Well, I have thoughts about everything. I am a noted detractor of Mr. Wahlberg. You've listed a couple of things I think are on that list. My main issue with him is that he was convicted of hate crimes, racist hate crimes, convicted of them. He is a noted douchebag. And the fact that he's now this Bible thumping evangelical Christian does not help the fact that he committed racially motivated violence when he was younger, before he was even Marky Mark. And now he comes to Vegas. The only reason anybody comes to Vegas is because it benefits them in terms of no personal income tax. So under the guise of coming to Vegas and wanting to create Hollywood 2.0, the racist douchebag Thumper comes to Vegas and does this big sales pitch for a studio. It failed. And in that moment, he was like, yeah, I'm done with you. So I have no information about what he's bought or sold here. It always felt a little perfunctory and superfluous and kind of flyby. And he may still claim Las Vegas as his residence for the tax benefits. Who knows? But you're right. It was this kind of little whimsical thing that he was doing. I was against it from day one just because he was involved. And I'm not even sure how involved he was. I don't think he was a monetary backer. He was kind of just the self-appointed ambassador of Hollywood because we didn't have anybody else handy. But that plan fell through. Finally, our elected officials realized that we don't have to subsidize billionaires or companies that make billions of dollars. We don't have to help them do their crap with taxpayer dollars. And all the promises, whether it's a sports stadium, a movie studio, whatever they're pitching, the economic benefits never pan out when taxpayers contribute. So thank you so much for asking. And I don't know if we can talk about this on this show. We haven't really talked about how much we're going to get into it, but this idiot is sitting on The View with ashes on his forehead in the shape of a cross. Like, are we in medieval times?
Well, I think that's kind of getting into tricky territory because people are sensitive about religion and everything. And I mean, I made that joke about him being the Pope, but that was just more about, like I said, just how worshipped he is and revered, just even as an actor. And do you feel that Hollywood will ever come to Vegas? Like, I don't know if his efforts were futile or if there actually was ever a chance of it happening, or if that, I have a theory that he might be trying to get into politics. That's a whole other
Oh,
side
good
discussion.
heavens.
I have no evidence of this. It's just a vibe I got when I saw him on some of the news channels that I saw and how he spoke about the Vegas community and how passionate he is. I thought maybe in his mind he thought Vegas was a good place to start. But again, that's neither here nor there. That's just
He's
me
a
just taking
lunkhead. So if he runs for something, I will run against him in Nevada.
You're going to be the mayor of Las Vegas?
I'm the anti-Mark
Governor?
Wahlberg. And you know what?
The
And you know what
anti-Mark
else?
candidate.
Wahlburger isn't that good either. And his
Oh, what
movies
about
aren't that good.
Fletcher? Have you heard anything about his Mexican restaurant in Town Square? It sounds like it's supposed to be, I guess, Spanish for arrow, which is like his tequila brand. But to me, it sounds like someone with a Boston accent trying to say Fletcher, like Fletcher. So that's what I thought it was initially. But it's just,
Nice.
yeah, it's like kind of an offshoot of his tequila brand. But have you
I don't
heard
even
anything?
think
Do
that's
people
a
go?
real. I don't even think that's a real accident. Didn't it burn down or something? That was the best
Oh,
news
did
I had
it?
heard since Chris Angel's restaurant burned down in Pahrump or wherever it was.
Oh, Pahrump. Who would
Yeah.
open a
Well,
restaurant
see, now
there?
that's the perfect thing to bring up on this podcast because it has to do with entertainment. It has to do with tangentially Las Vegas, which this podcast is not about, but I'm still obviously I live in Las Vegas, so I'm always interested in especially since you live in a different state at the moment, what a kind of someone
No,
who's
I don't.
outside the Vegas sphere. Oh, I
I'm on a
forgot.
Cosmo balcony.
You're on a Cosmo balcony. Gotcha. Do we have to change the theme song to the girl from Cali?
No,
'Cause
well,
it
I'm
specifically
originally from
mentions-
California, so it's a
Oh.
girl from California. I am, those are my
Okay.
origins. My origin
Well,
story.
I think it's cool because if you move back, it'll be pretty seamless as long as we slap up your backdrop and it'll look like we were in Vegas the whole time.
Then it'll be a San Diego backdrop, so I'll have to do it
So
ironically.
let's move on to, if you don't mind, talking about a movie we both watched recently called Weapons. And I'm saving Sinners for last because I think hopefully people will stop listening about halfway through, and then all the controversial things I say will fewer people will hear it. But
boy.
Weapons, of course, it was released in 2025, so it was Oscar eligible. It got one Oscar nomination. If we had done a proper Oscar episode, I think we probably would not have talked about Weapons, but because we saw Weapons, we wanted to talk about it, and so it seemed reasonable to. Oh my
And
God!
what is the Oscar nomination? So be
Look,
prepared.
you can see that the light changed because I clicked over. It's going to make it seem like I'm reading this off the internet. Best Picture nominees: The Secret Agent, Begonia, Marty Supreme, Train Dreams, F1. Oh my God, how the did that movie get a Sinners?
That's crazy.
Frankenstein. What are we
I
even
asked you
doing?
For
Hamnet.
Weapons, who was nominated? Sorry.
Wait, Hamnet. One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value. I want to make it clear that even though this show is about movies, sort of, I have seen Begonia, Sinners, One Battle After Another. Back in the day when I worked at the Writers Guild, I would have been ashamed to say that because I honestly, I would have seen 11 out of 10. Oh, back in the day, they only had 5 nominees, so I would have. You bet your ours. I would have.
What about F1? Didn't you see that one too?
No, I don't have to see it to not like that one.
Oh, gotcha.
So yes, why don't you tell us who was nominated from Weapons?
Amy Madigan for Best Supporting Actress.
Amy Madigan.
Wait, is that her last name? Is it Madigan or Magan?
Madigan.
Thank you. I was right. See,
Good.
now you have me questioning myself.
No, I have never heard that name. So other than
She
my
was in Uncle Buck.
incredible memory, I do remember Julia Garner and Josh Brolin and Alden Ehrenreich,
You're
Scarlett
reading off the
Schur,
screen, you
Carrie
cheater.
Christopher. No, I'm just rattling off all the things I memorized so that Jason Turner. Oh, he was so good. Benedict Wong, Annie Jules. I mean, who
You
can
are
forget her
horrible.
as parent number 1?
Out of
Ollie
spite,
Birch.
you are going to take my criticism and put it somewhere special.
One of my favorite parts of the movie was when the kids' parents were jabbing themselves in the face with a fork. And that was Whitmer Thomas, obviously, and Callie Shatera. They were so good as people stabbing themselves in the face with forks. It was awesome.
Great.
So, what's
You
your
are really
general?
beating this joke to the ground, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, you give me ammunition. I'm not gonna keep my gun in the holster. So, what are your
Ew.
overall thoughts of weapons? Do you have any overall thoughts, or you want to just dive into the things that I hated about it?
Oh, yeah, why don't we start with me because I mean, I didn't love it, but you tend to go a little bit too negative, so it'll be a nice maybe just palate cleanser to start with me.
Rude.
So I am someone that enjoys horror. I don't think you particularly care for that genre. I know you like zombie movies, but that's a little different. But I was actually surprised that it got the reception it did. I think compared to other horror movies that have come out in the last 10 years, it really just didn't hit for me. I think it was a little too on the nose, especially with movies like Hereditary and Talk to Me. And then even The Substance, which, is a little bit different, that was a little bit more camp, but it was just so much better done and just better executed than Weapons. And I think it was tonally off. I think they set up this great mystery and it was really visually cool when you see the kids all running out of their house, and that's the inciting incident, and they're running with their arms behind, and it looks really creepy and weird, and they're all running in the same direction, and yeah, it sets up this great, amazing mystery. And then in Act 2, they kind of shift to comedy, and even though it is kind of presented as a horror comedy, I just don't think it worked. I think that should have been presented in Act 1 and it wasn't. And so it felt off. It turned into like a buddy slapstick comedy with the cop and the meth head kid. And I don't really know what purpose their characters served. It seemed like a lot of the choices that were made were just to push the story forward. They didn't really feel like they made sense and they were too coincidental. Like when the crackhead guy just happens to break into the one little boy's home that's like the only surviving boy or the only boy that's showing up to class and all the other kids are missing. They didn't really explain that. So yeah, it just felt off to me. It felt like, yeah, just I'm comparing to other horror movies and I just didn't enjoy it as much. I think just having a witch with casting spells and doing voodoo just feels a little basic to me, and so, yeah, it just I don't know. I guess we don't really have a rating system,
Oh, we
but
have to come up with a rating
oh,
system.
I have an idea for that, but I'll let you go on about all the reasons why
Well,
you
I
hated it.
give it 2 out of 5 knockers, and the reason
Oh,
is
nice.
no.
How about this? Since our podcast is called Excommunication, hit it or quit it sounds a little cheesy now. It's a little
Oh,
dated.
nice. No,
But
I
how
like
about
that.
quit or commit or dump or date for the movie? Which one? Whichever one you prefer.
Oh my god. Let's do hit it and quit it.
Okay.
So, I'm gonna go with quit it on this one as well. I agree with a lot of what you said, which is shocking and probably not as interesting. But yeah, I think to me this movie sold itself based on literally the visuals of people running with their arms
Like
behind them.
this.
Yeah, like kind of like a V shape, or it's hard to explain to people who haven't seen it. But because that's what got my interest up was like, oh, it was just visually quirky. And I am not a horror movie person. I do not like horror, but this was not, there were no scary elements of this at all. Um, there were no real jump scares, kind of that old BS that I hate about, and there was no actual uh, terror involved. And like you said, it had elements where at the beginning you really have high hopes that it's going somewhere, and then it just turns into this goofy, kind of tacky caricature, kind of cartoonish silliness, campy, kitschy, kind of like what is happening with a couple of true horror elements thrown in that were kind of gross and weird. This guy gives a headbutt to somebody like 100 times because his brain has been taken over by the witch's spell. But I thought the witch element, just complete lack of imagination. There was nothing new there. If the movie had started out that way, it would have been a -10. It waited a bit. I don't know if this actress's um her name is Amy.
Are you having to check again? Did you forget already?
Amy Madigan. So
Oh my
Amy
God.
Madigan, who, I mean, I thought Julia Garner was fine, Josh Brolin, Austin Abrams, all great. I thought Benedict Wong, fantastic.
Okay, nobody cares about Benedict. Sorry,
Okay.
Benedict. Go on.
Why?
We get it.
What's wrong with him? Oh,
We
he's the
get
only
your point.
Asian? Is that why you hate it?
No, it's just
Oh.
you're going outside of the main cast.
Why'd you have to pick on Benedict Wong?
Oh God, I just picked a name.
Oh, what if our rating is the Wong system? It's like 4 Wongs.
The Knocker and Wong
Don't-
system. Okay.
And then, well, I think Wong is a great one because I could always be like, hey, that movie got 2 Wongs, and two Wongs don't make a right. But anyway.
Wow, the dad jokes coming in hot.
So
Sizzling.
I thought Amy Madigan
Oh my God.
was not particularly great. Like the character was all about her look, and she looked odd, but there wasn't any acting. There was no acting in this movie other than Josh Brolin. He's always solid. One of the few interesting things about it was he was going after the lead actress because she was a teacher in this class where all the kids disappeared except one. And so there was, they were at odds in the beginning, and then they finally realized they have a common enemy. But I just didn't love the kind of, and there were elements that were almost slapstick comedy. The crackhead, when he's running away, jumps in a tent. Like it's just one insipid
Goofy.
decision after another. And you don't have anybody to root for. You don't really take any of it seriously. There's this moment where once the witch is kind of, all the kids turn on the witch and they're chasing her through. Like, you might as well put the Benny Hill theme to this movie. Like, it's kids, murderous children running after this witch. Like, it was just
What's scary about
train
that?
wreck.
Like, there was nothing really scary.
Well, I don't want to be around kids either, honestly. So you go to Circus. That's a true horrifying.
Would be if they did a DNA test and then back in your
all my kids.
Miracle Beach days, yeah, that would scare you.
Funny. Well, I'm sure that if this ever goes on YouTube or a place where you can leave comments, we will solicit opinions of people about the films and television shows that we talk about. But I can't imagine anybody having loved this. I don't think it did very well at the box office. But
I think it got great reviews.
What?
I think on Rotten Tomatoes, I think it got a really high score. I think it's in the 90s. Yeah. So like I said, I was shocked to see that, especially when just comparing to The Substance, which is kind of the most recent horror movie I can think of that I enjoyed, which wasn't scary as well, but handled kind of the comedic elements a little better and the gore. One of the funniest moments of that movie, I thought, was when at the end when Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley's characters kind of form into that beast Quasimodo like character, and has like her eyes falling out of its socket and she just looks crazy and ridiculous, and then she has that one strand of hair and she starts curling it. I thought that was hysterical, right? So that worked for me in that movie. The comedy works.
Who was the younger one? Isn't she related to somebody?
Oh yeah, of course, that one you're interested in. Margaret Qualley, daughter of Andy McDowell.
Oh yeah, her acting, she was top
notch, right?
We should have
she had fake she wore a chest plate, so that those were not her real breasts, and
what the
there was
hell?
a stunt ass too. She's a beautiful woman, but I think they did a phenomenal job because I thought that was her body. I was like, wow, she's not only is she gorgeous, in the face, but she's got like a porn star body, but nope.
I am
Special effects.
retroactively flaccid to learn that. So, are we done with weapons? Let us move on to
Wow, that
another
was quick.
popular huh?
I said that was quick. You've heard that before, haven't
Well,
you?
that's because any minute now you're gonna keep looking at your egg timer. Hey, what the that was good. Don't let me
Oh,
skip
that's
over
another
your
critique
jokes.
that I look at the clock too much. Okay, so
I'm just saying that
carry
it's
on.
in about 6 minutes, you're gonna be like, "Okay, sinners, done.
Right,
Let's
but
go."
6 minutes, so we could have had a little bit more of a debate for another couple minutes.
And in
Anyways,
6 minutes, we could have had sex 3 times. So,
wow.
let us talk about another award-winning now, even though I you know why we picked these 2 movies and we didn't know it? It's the least nominated movie at the Oscars and the most nominated movie at the
Look at
Oscars.
that fun fact you came up with that required some research. I am so proud of you.
No, I just made that up, but it
No,
only
it's
had
actually
1
true.
nomination, so it's gotta be one of the least nominated.
It's true.
But,
Sinners has 16 and Weapons has 1.
so how many?
Sinners, I think, broke a record for the most Oscar nominations ever in history with
Oh, good
16,
god.
and
Well,
Weapons has 1.
so this says a lot about the world, and mostly it says that we're all doomed because taste is gone. Taste is done. Standards are done. Quality is done. We if you're giving this movie 16 Oscar nominations, you have lost your mind, objectively speaking. So, do you want to talk about the controversial part first or last? I think we should talk about it right up front. So, Sinners,
Sure. I am
sorry,
rolling my eyes at some of this, though, so I know
feel
people
free.
can't see that
Sinners,
listening.
yeah, on the audio podcast, they won't be able to see anything good, but I can. So,
Go on.
I go on. So, Sinners, if you haven't seen it, spoilers. I think we spoiled the hell out of Weapons, by the way. But in the case of Sinners, it is a predominantly African American cast. I would list their names for you because I know them by heart,
Please do. One of them plays
including
2 characters, so that's saving you time.
Michael B. Jordan, who played Smoke and Stack.
Good
And
job.
there are many people with names I cannot pronounce or remember, but so I think it's important to raise the issue of when you critique a movie, it is really difficult to not talk about the element of race when it comes to Sinners because this is a very culturally diverse film, and there is a temptation as a Caucasian to feel a little careful because the feedback you're giving can be interpreted as, well, you didn't like that because this may not you may not be the target demographic for this film. Well, obviously, if it got 16 nominations, it has a wide target audience. So a lot of it comes down to just personal taste. And but I think it's important to acknowledge, like, it's trickier to call this movie mid than it is to call Weapons mid because both are mid, but there's because of the subject matter, the tone is very much South, very much African American experience, very much struggle, and there's literal cotton fields and literal plantations, and it's a
Well, it is a period piece, so
yeah, it is, but it's also like a vampire movie, basic vampire 101 with some cultural flair to it. It is not deserving of awards. I can't think of one of those categories where an award is
well, what about
where it's award
cinematography?
worthy.
'Cause, I said visually, I thought it was stunning. It was really cool to just watch it. The set design was awesome. Like I said, it's a period piece.
Well,
Some of the CGI.
do you want to address the how you view how critiquing a movie like this is different than a typical film? Because we don't see a ton of movies where it's predominantly African American cast and crew and like everybody involved with this production that I could see,
Well, Ryan
almost
Coogler made
everybody.
Black Pan Black Panther. So that's another example of a movie with a predominantly, African American cast that did very well. That was well received, I think, among all races, cultures. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Just that it's important to be sensitive because even though this people would qualify this as a vampire movie, it has deeper meaning than that to African American people watching. And I can't speak to that experience. And so, I could only give it feedback to what was relevant to me. And that was that it was a vampire movie kind of set in, I guess, a post World War One era in the South. And like I said, I thought it was visually stunning. I thought certain elements of it were good. It was watchable, but it just didn't hit for me just based on certain things that I look for in a vampire movie. But again, as you said, it's it's greater than that. It's bigger than that for a lot of the audience watching. So I want to be sensitive to that as well
And
and not
and I
diminish any of the awards
Yeah, no, I
based
think
on my
that's
opinion.
a really key element of it is it it lands differently, and there's parts of this which I consider overtly bigoted. So, it's not racist because that's not how racism works. There's no such thing as an African American being racist toward a Caucasian. That's not the definition of racism, it's bigotry. So, but there's a whole segment in this film that's kind of revenge porn. It's kinda like, Inglorious Bastards, where it's just like, "Oh, we're just gonna kill Nazis. We don't care about history, we don't care if it's we're just gonna kill a bunch of Nazis." So, in this case, it's we're gonna kill a bunch of Klan guys, which is fine, but that those scenes land differently to someone who has not struggled, and this movie is just it's just oozes kind of like anger and kind of like generational oppression, and I get it, and I lean very left. I am very like you know, very much like I'm the reparations guy. I'm the, whatever
There
program
you go. Write a
white
check.
people hate, I love. I love affirmative action. I love whatever, like DEI, whatever. I love all those things. And I also am I'm cognizant of the fact that sometimes if an African American actor isn't good at acting, it's because they don't have the opportunity to act. Like, they don't get jobs. They don't have their vast majority of jobs that are available, whether it's independent films, mainstream films, TV, streaming, whatever it is, the opportunity is not there. So to come in and say the acting was really spotty in this movie is unfair because you're doing that thing where it's like, "Hey, pull yourself up by your bootstraps." Well, I think that's insulting because if you don't have the same opportunities, you don't have any bootstraps. Like you can't magically just lift yourself up and overcome the oppression because you're just gung ho about it. You walk into a job interview and you're already at a disadvantage because of institutionalized racism. So I think there's layers to this movie that would probably be you would excuse some of the I thought a lot of it was very amateurish, to be honest. It looked like an inexperienced director. It looked like an inexperienced cast. It looked like an inexperienced screenwriter, all of which have gotten awards. I just thought it was very mundane. I thought it really lacked originality. It kind of the same thing as in Weapons with a witch. It's like it was a vampire movie. It was all the cliches of vampire movies. You can't come in without an invitation. It's holy water. It's wooden stake through the heart. Like, what was novel about this at all, except that it's awesome to have a big mainstream movie populated by African Americans. That's awesome. But as a movie, if you look at each part of it, it's just like what is the thing you think should win an award? What made it outstanding? Unless the rest of the field of movies this year was just not all that good. In which case, any movie that had a beginning, middle, and end, and a time period, and some technical wizardry, because you do forget that the twins are the same person, so that's
So wouldn't
give him
that
an
mean you
Oscar.
think Michael B. Jordan's a good actor then?
No, I thought he was marble-mouthed. I
Wait,
thought he
what?
was one note. I
It's
thought
a Southern drawl. He's a
no,
Southern guy.
it was just, like, inarticulate. You couldn't understand what he
But
was
you
saying.
just said I forgot that it was the same guy. So in my mind, when you
No,
say that,
because
that
he's
means
in
he
the
played the two
same
characters really well that
no,
you were able to
he
distinguish.
there was no
Oh,
differentiation. I spent most of this movie
oh, I
trying
thought
to
you said
figure
there
out
was.
who was Smoke and who was Stack, which I
Oh, okay.
realize is possibly racist, but it wasn't about how they
Okay,
looked.
so
No, I couldn't tell them apart because he
I
didn't
thought you.
differentiate the characters with his acting. He
Okay,
played the exact same person wearing two different hats, and the hats were supposed to make it clear that it was, oh, that's the one that banged the uh the witch, and that's the one that banged. Speaking of banging, it's reprehensible that a lead character sleeps with the girlfriend of the other character who is his brother. You've lost all that is amateurish screenwriting. You don't undermine the likability of a character by having him not give a second thought to that he's sleeping. He's going to sleep. He's not only going to cheat on his woman, he's going to betray his brother, who they've spent the whole movie showing how close they are and how they've been through so much and they've always protected each other. And now he's going to just bang this woman who he doesn't know is a vampire. Like, there's so many illogical components to this movie, even within the you know, the framework of vampire movies, which have a lot of fantastical elements. But I don't know. There were so many characters. I hated watching everyone die. It was so unsatisfying. There's so many likable characters and everyone dies. The big guy who's guarding the door dies. The other musician that's not the kid dies. All the women die. All the men die. Literally everyone dies except the lead character and that kid who has a voice that made me fall in love with him. And Saint.
are we done now?
Sorry.
No,
I
that's
know
okay.
it's
You're very passionate.
excommunication, and we should communicate more, but
All right,
I've been
that's it
saving
for
this up
the.
because it was frustrating. I forced myself to watch it again because we do a podcast, but I was just more frustrated because it was just all the same things that I hated the first time. I hated even more. And I didn't hate the movie. It was 3
You've got to
knockers.
be kidding. Okay,
No,
name something positive. Oh, you said there were some characters you liked. Okay, some people that you felt were good actors. But name 3 positives about the movie.
I think they created a time and a vibe that it was refreshing to see. It's refreshing to see African Americans shown as powerful, and you see these kind of negative forces around them that the Klan's out there, you know, and that was one of the themes of the movie. It was like, like we're black. We don't have a fair shot at at at
I feel
fairness
like you're
or
making it
success.
too much about race. Like now you're just fixated on that element and it still is essentially a vampire movie. I mean, I don't think anyone is disregarding that. I think it's similar to another movie in the horror genre that has a racial element is Get Out, which is kind of in my mind a take on Body Snatchers or Skeleton Key, but kind of adding that racial element into it of the guy, the African American man going home to meet his white girlfriend's family. And then, obviously he finds out that they're doing this they have these ulterior motives. They have this process where they're, getting into the bodies of African American people. So that movie felt a little bit more original and fresh to me. But I feel like that movie isn't the racial element of that movie isn't talked about that much either. It's more about the horror element, the supernatural part of it. And so for Sinners, I feel like you're just fixating a little bit too much on that.
No, you
My
said
issue,
you asked me 3 things I liked.
but then
I
you started
liked
going into the
No,
racial
because that's
part of
what
it
I
again.
liked. I liked that
Oh,
it's a
okay.
movie about a culture that you don't get to see depicted on screen all that proportionately.
Okay.
It's not a common, culture or time period, so I liked the overall kind of vibe. So let's just
Okay.
say that. The vibe, uh, I have a lot more things I didn't like, though. Like that scene where the kid's playing the music, and then there's, like,
You
a
have
modern guitarist thrown in with some kinda that was so poorly it was well
back to
executed
the negatives.
stupidity. Yes. Okay, so the other thing I liked, uh uh, it's hard to get mad seeing members of the Klan killed, so I liked that. Uh It but part of the cultural aspect was it was enjoyable to see African Americans in a position of power where you know, they were making decisions about a business. They were making, like it was proactive. It had main character energy. So that's the other thing I liked is the main characters they drove the story, they showed bravery, they showed, like, all those hero qualities, except for the guy who banged his brother's girlfriend or whatever. Uh,
Complex characters, they're in.
yeah, no, they weren't complex, he was an a-hole. Um, the I loved the k like, so the whole premise, we haven't really talked about it, was that there's people who are so good at performing music that it breaches time and
Mhm.
space and dimensions or whatever. Like they say it
Past,
right up
future.
front in a
Mhm.
voiceover. They say it multiple times throughout the thing. And the kid thinks that he blames himself because he's like, my music brought this on us because the vampire specifically says, you were the one I want. And he wanted him because, I guess, because he was a good guitar player. I don't know. He was a really good singer. And I think they accomplished that well because that kid, this minute he opened his mouth, the music was just great. He's so talented. And I assume it wasn't like somebody else singing. So it was like whoever that guy was. Again, a marble mouth, delivery,
It's
not
a southern
not a good
drawl.
actor. But his music was fantastic. So that's
Great.
3 things. And I
Wonderful.
also like the phrase "juju bag."
Or Juke Joint was the name of their speakeasy.
But what was the name of the
I
charm? Wasn't it juju bag or mojo
Oh,
bag or
that the
whatever?
wife was doing?
Yeah, like he had been wearing it. Oh, now I don't remember. But anyway, I,
Juju.
so, yeah, and there were these long sequences like that Irish dancing, singing thing, like the vampires celebrating whatever, like, what are you doing? Why is this a 15-minute sequence? Somebody needed to edit this movie. It was like 4 hours long. Come on. Enough.
Speaking of enough, can I give my thoughts now? Now that we're 43 minutes in? See, like, so this is why I
Here
interrupt,
we
and this is
go.
why I do the time card because if I don't interrupt, then by the time I get to my points, we're going to be over an hour. So,
I thought you
anyway.
expressed points. Don't dismiss your
Okay,
earlier
let's
thoughts.
watch this. Or because I see that the platform that we use, which is Riverside, actually does a transcript, right? An AI transcript of who said what, and just look at the script of what you are saying. Just let's do a word count of what you say versus what I said in this episode. But anyways, well, thank you for letting me be on your podcast. I really appreciate it. Anyways, so for sinners again, as I was saying, a positive was I really love the cinematography. Some of the CGI when they're driving through, I guess, the fields of Mississippi that's some of the best CGI I think I've seen in years. A lot of times, you can tell when people are kind of driving in a car and they're looking around and you're like, oh, that's so obvious. But a lot of it, yeah, looked super real. Like I said, the set design, I love kind of old-timey period pieces. I love the costumes. I thought the acting was pretty decent. I like Michael B. Jordan as an actor. He's handsome, so that doesn't hurt things. But what I didn't like about it was that, again, to me, I'm looking at it through a different lens than someone who's looking at it, with a deeper meaning and the kind of racial and cultural undertones behind it. Just looking at it as a vampire movie set in the 1930s, I thought that it was lacking in the sense that when I look at a vampire movie, I want to see lore. And I told you this, that I feel like if you're going to honor all the other tropes of garlic and you have to have permission to come inside and we only come out at nighttime, you should also kind of pay homage to the fact that vampires are supposed to be immortal beings that have been alive for walking the earth for hundreds of years and maybe even thousands. And the vampire, I think his name is Remick, the Irish one. He just shows up. We don't know how he became a vampire. We don't know what transpired. We don't know what led him to even be in the town. And so it just, yeah, that felt like something was lacking for me. And then I just didn't really care as much about the battle then between the vampires and the brothers. And even though I understand that it had the deeper meaning of the vampires being the kind of KKK people, and then the brothers and their people battling them, for me, it fell flat compared to other vampire movies that I've enjoyed, like Blade or Underworld. Like Underworld is supposed to be not there's like two warring factions of like werewolves versus vampires that have been going on for hundreds of years. And even Blade has like a cool origin story where his mom was like impregnated with a vampire child, and there's like this demon that's been around for like a thousand years that they're trying to like get the blood of as like an anecdote. So like all these cool kind of backstories with these other vampire movies. So I just feel like it didn't have enough backstory. And you point out maybe it's for the sequel, and maybe that's the case. Maybe they are holding back. But for me, it fell flat for that reason, that I feel like that's such a cool area of storytelling to be able to go hundreds of years back and give a little history. But yeah, they just didn't do that. Maybe they felt it wasn't necessary, and maybe other people don't care. They just think, okay, the vampires show up, you take it as is, and they fight, and I don't need a whole explanation of where they came from or who bit who or how long they've been walking the earth. I don't need all that. I just need the cool action scenes. So, just my opinion. Thanks for letting me talk.
You're gonna be so embarrassed when you go back and calculate the percentage of
Oh, I'm
talking.
gonna be embarrassed.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you think it's like 90-10, but it's
Oh
more
yeah.
like 55-45
I'll be generous.
maybe.
80-20 maybe.
And the only time I talk longer is when I feel passionately about something. So, yes, there is this moment where the vampire just shows up. He jumps in from off screen. We have no idea why he jumped. They just needed a moment. It's lazy screenwriting. And then you have this group of Native Americans following him, like they're the vampire slayers. They get one cursory scene at this cabin where they're like, "Hey, did you see a vampire?" And the people are like, "No, because we're white, so we're not going to turn him in." And then they go on their merry way. I think that has the potential for being its own movie of like the Native American vampire slayers or whatever. But I think it was just, and even the character later says like, "Well, I guess I happened on this situation at the right time," or something. Like he just magically appeared, and they're only going after the people in this in this nightclub. It's not like they're like going to town. There's a lot more people. Why are you going after this group of
Well, it
people?
was the music, right? They were drawn to the
Oh, going
music.
after the one kid. Yeah, I guess. I mean,
Mhm.
what a weird premise for like, that kid's so good at singing, we need to kill everyone. Okay. Vampire culture is really kind of thirsty.
I guess some
Literally.
people would say that's an original part of the movie, that they added
Oh,
the
good
music
God.
element, and that's not something that's typical for vampire
Okay.
movies.
I would agree with that. It's different. But yeah, I hope they do well at the Oscars. I hope they get 2 Oscars. I think that's the over under. Because I think ultimately there's a lot of white people in the Academy, so they're not going to get a lot of the big important themes. Because I've seen interviews with performers from the movie saying like, this is so much more than you could see on screen, which I think is the lamest way to excuse mediocre stuff, is like by saying, well, no, but for me personally, it's like art. Like that, we have so much shitty Las Vegas art, right? Public art. So I'm always going, boy, that's shitty art. And everybody's like, oh no, that's so moving. I can't tell you how much that impacted me. I'm like, it's an armadillo, bro. You got to chill. But it's kind
Some
of
strong
the way they're
opinions.
making it sound, huh?
Got some strong opinions there.
Well, what are we going to sit and just listen to crickets for an hour for our podcast?
No, I'm saying art is subjective. So if someone likes an armadillo, to them, that's art. And so, but you're saying you're kind of just negating it, saying, oh, it's just an armadillo. I'm saying, isn't that's the point of reviewing movies as well? It is kind of, subjective. So you have to be mindful of that and kind of take the
No.
other perspective
No.
into account.
You are sensitive about armadillos because that is a visual representation of you.
I'm sensitive about everything. Even when you go and on your diatribe, attacking movies, I feel compelled to defend the movie, even if I didn't really even love the movie. So for Sinners, quit it if I had to pick, because even though I enjoyed it, it was watchable, but just definitely not up there, especially compared to other movies of the same genre that I've enjoyed. So,
Yeah,
but
I
I
would
still
go.
feel compelled to point out the positive.
I feel like I was going to go 2 knockers, but I'm going 3 because
It's hit it or quit it.
if
You're the
everyone
one that
loved it,
suggested it. So why are you going back on it now? You said, "Let's do hit it or quit it."
I think knockers is funnier. But
Well,
yeah,
I pointed out why earlier.
no, you know
So,
why? Because the thumbs up, thumbs down thing doesn't it I don't know if that's helpful, because I think people should see this movie because it's unique, and I think we should support movies that are made by African American filmmakers and performers and artists, because we need the movies will get better the more opportunities there are. And I think that's been shown to be true through, you know, like the Get Out situation. Like, I didn't love that movie, but because it was such a big success, you get to make more. So now you've got these
well, that
creative
was Jordan
people.
Peele, and this is Ryan Coogler, but 2
Right,
different
but
director
what I'm
writers.
saying is in the community, you get more opportunities. I assume that the director of this movie was African American of
Yes.
Sinners?
Yes,
Yeah.
but different. I'm saying he didn't make Get Out. That was Jordan Peele.
No, that's what I'm saying is like the community of African American, or really any community, like Asian Americans should have another, Crazy Rich Asian movie because that one was successful, so they get to make more. And it's kind of like, so I want to support it because I think the people involved should be able to make more so they can get better at what they do, because it comes through over time, it improves. So over time, the actors, if they take on more roles and maybe if they go to acting school, will be
Yeah, this
better
sounds
actors.
patronizing to me, but that
Yeah,
maybe
it
we just have
is.
different perspectives.
No, I'm part of the
It's
patriarchy,
it's saying you
so we
support
get to
something
patronize.
you support something because it sucks so bad you want it to get better, is kind of like a backhanded
I
compliment.
I see potential if they get a better screenwriter, the next movie will be better. Sinners 2 will be better. Hopefully they can find the graphics guy who made the cotton field so realistic, because
Well,
that was definitely
thank
breakthrough
God we reviewed
technology.
weapons in this episode too. I didn't actually make that connection, but now I'm like, thank God, because we didn't like, or you didn't like that one either. So it makes it look balanced, because that movie had no racial elements to it at all. But yeah, similar rating, right?
No.
Quit it.
No, 2 knockers
Okay,
for
it's your
weapons
Viagra's. How
and
about that?
3 knockers for sinners.
6
And
Viagra's.
I'm gonna say Viagra.
Two can play at this game.
3 wangs for sinners and 2
3
wangs
Wang.
for weapons. So can we should, you know what we should do is we should really try to find movies that we love, so the next time it can be raves and it'll all be 5 wangs or 5 knockers or
Okay,
all
episode
thumbs up.
5.
But I don't think
Movies we
that's gonna
love.
happen, because I think we're gonna talk about every battle, every day is a
I thought
battle.
you said you don't remember that one because you watched it a
No, but
while back. You're gonna have to
I
rewatch
am
it.
expressing my affection for you by watching shitty movies twice so that I
Oh
can
my gosh.
remember them to talk about them. The ultimate sacrifice.
Well, I just
Wasting my
recently
time.
watched that one, and it's a long one. I think it's like almost 2.5 hours. So,
Why don't we just talk about it now and get it out of the way, and I won't have to watch it again?
but it's not fresh for you.
I
So,
didn't like that he wore a robe the whole time,
and
but it
it's
was fine.
55 minutes. So,
I'm gonna go 3
wait.
wangs
For what?
for it's every day's a battle.
Nope. You have to watch it again. Your Alzheimer's.
I know
is
the cast
a
by
problem.
heart.
Well, you're gonna have to get everyone. Okay,
Battle
what's the name of the
every day
actress who's nominated for the
cast.
supporting actress?
Oh, in One Battle After Another?
Yeah,
Well, we know it's not Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn,
you're
who
buying
played
time.
Colonel Stephen Lockjaw. I believe I'm gonna go with Regina Hall.
Oh, strikeouts.
Was I supposed to say Teyana Taylor?
Yes.
I have no idea who those people are.
Yeah, exactly. So watch the movie, do your research, take your Viagra, and then we'll reconvene for episode 5.
Someone played Mae West in that movie? Mae West?
No, that is just the character's name, because they all have names.
Oh.
The Revolution
They
people
all
have
have
names.
names.
Yeah, like Pussy Beverly Hills or whatever.
Oh my God, what the hell?
Yeah, Hollywood, Booty. I don't know. They all have like weird names.
I cannot bear to watch that movie. It's not that I
Can you
didn't
like fast
like it. I
forward
just can't
and
watch.
through scenes just to like re-jog your memory?
No, there's so many good. Hey, can we do a documentary episode? Because there's so many good documentaries. There's one
Sure.
about Las Vegas right now that's on YouTube. Oh my God, this
Oh
one
my God,
guy,
how
he's
does this come back
hilarious.
to you? Full circle. Full
And when's
circle.
the episode where we
Anyways,
talk about relationships and stuff?
we did that in the beginning. We've been doing that throughout the whole show of arguing about who gets more time. Housekeeping matters of constructive feedback. So we kind of pepper it in, I feel. So I think we're covered. But
All right.
anyways, coming up on an hour. So thank you for listening to the
Here we go. The
Excommunication.
clock
Thank you for
watcher
listening
supreme.
to Scott at the movies
Oh my
with
God.
Melissa interjecting when she can podcast.
You're going to be
It's been a
so
pleasure.
embarrassed because you're going to go back and go, ooh, that was maybe 50, 51,
50-50.
49.
All right, we'll see about that. We'll let
The
the
over-under
technology
is
tell us.
55, 45. And I only
Technology
had,
can't gaslight. Riverside can't gaslight me, but you can. So let's wait till the verdict's in.
I'm always right eventually. Like this thing with the A's and their ballpark, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Okay,
2
you
years
have a
from now, 3
podcast.
years from now, I'm
Talk
going to be
about that
right.
on your podcast. Anyways, thank you.
Now I'm being silenced. You're not the producer. I'm the producer because I have
What
the
happened to
record button.
50-50?
I give our podcast 3 knockers, and that's
Oh my
plenty.
God. I'm quitting this podcast. It's like I quit
I'll see
other
you
things.
next time, everyone.
Bye.
Possibly not Melissa, but I'll be here talking to myself.
Of course you will.